We got some updates on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Terrifier 3, and Scream 7. Let's get into it. Welcome to the second page, everybody. My name is Jennifer Lawrence, and today we're talking a little bit about a bunch of updates in horror. Starting off with Jennifer's Body writer Diablo Cody saying she's not done with the franchise and she wants to make a sequel. This is exclusive to Bloody Disgusting, as she said this on the Boo Crew podcast. It's their podcast, if that wasn't made clear already. Diablo Cody, who has the coolest handle of any horror movie writer out there, says she's not done with Jennifer's Body, but she does have a brand new movie coming from director Zelda Williams in just 2 weeks, called Lisa Frankenstein. I'm very excited for this movie. The trailer looks very silly and goofy, very similar to something like Jennifer's Body, actually, hilariously enough. It makes sense that it's coming from this writer. I'm excited for that one on February 9th. Go check it out. But she was talking a little bit about how the film has had a bit of a resurgence. It's been looked upon a little better than how it was in 2009. She tells the Boo Crew, I mean, it's gotten progressively happier for me. At first, I was excited about it, obviously. But I was also a little bit salty because I remember thinking, well, where was this audience when the movie came out? It was a critical commercial failure. I was pretty humiliated, to be perfectly honest with you. It was a rough experience having that movie come out. It was rough for me. It was rough for Megan Fox. Then people started suddenly talking about it like it was a good movie, which I had thought all along. At first, I just thought, oh, where was this audience when I needed it? And then I realized they were like 7. And then some people who maybe didn't appreciate it at the time have come around, and now I'm just like, there's no saltiness. Now I'm just happy. Some of the greatest horror movies of all time, especially ones that were ahead of their time, like Jennifer's Body, in my opinion, are movies that were reviewed very poorly upon their release. Some of my favorite horror movies, like The Thing and Videodrome, were both reviewed very poorly when they came out, but have since been considered cult classics or some of the best films from said directors, like John Carpenter and David Cronenberg. But Diablo Cody also admits to wanting to do a sequel to Jennifer's Body, where she says, yes, I want to do a sequel. I am not done with Jennifer's Body. I need to partner with people who believe in it as much as I do, and that hasn't really happened yet. I need someone to believe in it who has $1 billion. She also talks about having another unfinished script for something else in the realm of horror, very exciting stuff. But will Jennifer's Body 2 ever happen? Well, they need $1 billion budget, apparently, according to this quote. I'm totally kidding, but I think it could. I mean, a lot of people have reflected on that movie very positively lately. I've seen numerous tweets come from random accounts out there on X, Twitter, maybe on Instagram, some posts over there talking about how much they love this movie, how they don't understand why it wasn't this big hit. I think it could come back. We're seeing this massive resurgence of horror right now. It would make sense for them to do a sequel to this. Whatever ends up happening, though, I'm down for a Jennifer's Body 2. Run it up, make it happen. Someone give Diablo Cody $1 billion. On to the next update. We just got a brand new trailer, or trailers, I should say, for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and it kind of doubles down on the nostalgia. It's showing us more shots of like the classic Ghostbusters from the past, and here they are now teaming up with the people from Afterlife. The American trailer kind of shows off more of the ghosts that are going to be going on in this movie, gives us a clearer picture as to what the plot's going to be. This is a movie where I don't necessarily care if stuff gets spoiled. It's a big blockbuster. It's fun. It's going to be over the top. It's going to be a fun theatrical experience, just like how Afterlife was. It looks more to me like the actual Ghostbusters 3. We're in New York City this time around. We're driving around. We're fighting ghosts. It just has that vibe that the first 2 films have. At least that's what I've seen in the trailers, where Afterlife is definitely kind of its own thing. It's not bad. I really enjoyed Afterlife, but it is definitely 3rd on my rankings, and that 2016 film never happened. Don't worry about it. But if you just saw the American trailer, you might want to go over and check out the Mexican trailer from Sony Pictures, because it features a whole bunch of new footage and a bunch of other new ghosts, including this fishy guy right here puking up on the glass. The 2 big things that are different about this trailer is it showcases and clarifies how this artifact basically brings on the death chill, which is something we've talked about in a previous update, which is why you see all those frozen spikes popping out of the ground, whatever the hell that crazy frost demon thing is. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. It kind of clarifies how that's going to come into play here a little more, with Dan Aykroyd's character buying it at a secondhand store. We're also showcased with shots of what appears to be a ghost menagerie. If you guys have seen Star Trek, you know what I'm talking about, where it's a bunch of different ghosts in these crazy cages, like a zoo almost. A ghost zoo. That's where we get this shot of old Pukey down here, who's a fish that throws up. And That's all we know about his character so far. I'm unreasonably excited for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire that comes out on March 22nd. That's a brand new release date for the film, by the way. You might have missed that, so there you go. March 22nd, we're getting this bad boy. Are you excited for this film that comes out in like 2 months? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Little update on Godzilla -1. The film just became the third highest grossing international movie in US box office history. adding another thing to its repertoire that makes it one of my favorite movies of the 2020s so far. Holy crap. The film is right behind Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon at 128.5 million and Life is Beautiful, 57.5 million. Now, once again, I don't know if any of this is adjusted for inflation, but we don't really care about that kind of thing. Come on, baby. Adjusting for inflation in a lot of ways, I think this might be a controversial thing to say, but it's almost like not fair, right? Because like back like 20, 30 years ago, streaming wasn't widely available like how it is today. Like you could find pretty much anything you would want to watch on a streaming service somewhere out there. So like, it's like, yeah, why go to the movie theaters? Unfortunately, that's how some people see it. I still love going to the theaters. I would recommend more people go to the theaters. I think it's great. It's a great experience to see a brand new movie with the community of people around you. Even though, yes, teenagers may throw popcorn at the back of your head, something that has happened to me. If you have not seen Godzilla -1 yet, please go see it. I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to watch a movie with subtitles. This one is worth it. I promise you this one is worth it. This is a 10 out of 10 movie. It's so good. It's one of those rare, perfect films that has ever come out. It's my favorite Godzilla movie out of all of them, which if you don't know, there's like 50 Godzilla movies. I don't even think I'm exaggerating there. There's like way too many of these damn things. But this one is, in my opinion, the best out of what I've seen. I love it. So good. Fantastic. Go see it. It's in the theaters right now in black and white, and it's going to be gone after this week. So make sure to go check this one out. It is so worth it. I promise. I beg you to go see this one in theaters. Let's get it up to number 2 in highest grossing international movie. Let's make that happen. Getting into a little Terrifier 3 update. This is something that I would usually talk about on the main page, but I just feel like there's not a whole lot here to talk about. It's just the new image. Damien Leone has posted our first picture of what Art the Clown is going to look like in Terrifier 3 with the caption of "Christmas will never be the same." I love it. Why I'm not making a whole video about this is there's really only one big thing I have to say. The eyes of Art the Clown look very similar to how they do in the original Terrifier versus how they did in Terrifier 2. That's really the only big difference here. We still got his ridiculous nose with the dot on the tip of it. I love it. Great stuff here. It's gonna look disgusting, but there's just really not much more to say besides that. Brand new image. Here's what Art the Clown is gonna look like, and filming has probably just begun for Terrifier 3 as well. Massive shout out to Critical Overlord for giving us a little insight as to what's going on with Scream 7 here. Someone was asking, I heard that they found a director for Scream 7, to which old Critical says, I don't know who the director is, but that's true from what I've heard. Chances are they aren't going to announce a thing because of the backlash. Now, once again, this is all rumors. I want to say before we go any further, nothing is confirmed as of right now if Scream 7 has found a director or not, but it would make sense. I imagine Spyglass has a fire under their ass trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this new movie, considering all the backlash, considering all the controversy, but there's a lot we got to talk about here. Now, obviously, Christopher Landon is my first choice for directing Scream 7, but there are a lot of other great candidates out there. Tyler McIntyre, for instance, who directed Tragedy Girls and the most recent It's a Wonderful Knife. I think he would do an excellent job with a Scream film. But he actually said during an interview on Craven Something Scary's page that he wouldn't touch that film with a 6-foot pole. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but the biggest reason he doesn't want to direct Scream 7 is because he doesn't want to be linked to all of this controversy. There's a lot of crazy shit going on with this film that a lot of people want to get very, very, very far away from. So if they have found a director at this point, they probably won't announce it for at least another couple of months, in my opinion. Once we get like some casting info, once we kind of get like a better schedule, a better idea of what this movie's going to be, it's going to be some time before we get an official announcement, because right now people are pissed off at Spyglass. I mean, definitely not as pissed off as they were in November and December. You know, things are starting to decline a little bit, starting to settle down, but I think they're going to wait until all of that is like kind of at a zero, like when almost no one is talking about it anymore, which is going to happen. I know some people are like, oh, I'm going to boycott Scream 7. Nobody should go see this movie. But the truth of it is the general audience who is going to see Scream 7 when it does come out probably won't even know anything about any of this. It's mostly the diehard fans who are being very vocal about Scream 7. I mean, I literally just had a buddy of mine text me like last week, like, dude, they fired Melissa Barrera? Had no idea. Dude had no idea that happened back in November until this year. Like, so I think the general audience probably is not going to care if they release a film with Scream in the title. It's going to make money. Even if the diehard fans absolutely hate it, which there are a lot of people that hate Screams 5 and 6. And well, those movies made a bunch of money. Way more money than what their budget was. So I don't think, I just doesn't really make sense to boycott Scream 7. Even though I myself am not happy with Spyglass, I'm not really one to talk about politics. It's just not really my ball game. I don't really know. I'm not really an expert in that field. I'm glad that so many Scream fans are, but I'm just not. I think it absolutely sucks that they fired Melissa Barrera, though. She is such a good final girl. It is a big mistake that they wouldn't have her come back or figure out a better time to work with Jenna Ortega. I mean, I know her schedule's busy, and there's rumor about like maybe a pay dispute dispute, very similar to what happened with Nev Campbell. But like, I just wish they would have gotten that shit figured out, man. I don't think it's going to affect it that poorly, though. I mean, look at Halloween Ends, a movie that is widely considered to be a massive disappointment, still makes over $100 million. Even though they kind of tossed aside everything from the previous two movies. Does that ring a bell? Kind of sound a little familiar, like maybe what's happening here? Obviously a very different situation. It was just writing that was like completely fucked up and changed for Halloween Ends versus what's going on with Scream 7. Two totally different situations, but similar, if you catch my drift. So I think it'll still make money. It'll probably be the least highest grossing of the last two Scream movies. Maybe like, a little over 100 million. If I had to guess as of right now, maybe 110 million is what Scream 7 ends up making. And that'll probably be the last one for a little while too. I've heard some rumors about who might be directing this one, and I can promise you that if they're true, if these rumors are true, a lot of you are going to be happy about that. I don't want to say anything right now because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. You know, if like, let's say in 2 months they announce someone else, that would be really weird. But I've heard rumors of a certain person out there that I know a lot of Scream people like that might be directing this one, and that would actually be pretty cool. I'd be down. Personally, it's someone who I would be happy with directing Scream 7. Although, like I said, Christopher Landon's my first choice. Love that guy to death. I think he's great. What do you guys think about all these updates, though? Leave me something about it in the comments below.